My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Cramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. Next up at UFC 261, we have Pat Sabatini versus Tristian Connelly. And we broke Pat Sabatini down a month or two ago, but his fight was canceled when his opponent had the biggest weight miss in the history of the UFC. It was something absurd, like 15 pounds or something. He is now back on the card. He has a more favorable matchup and a full training camp because last time he took that on short notice. And I think he wins this fight. I think it's a pretty straightforward win. But Jacob, I'll let you break it down and give us your thoughts on this.
First of all, Tristan's last fight was the wildest fight you will ever see in your life against Michael Pereira against Michael Pereira.
Cartwheels and the flips and the swirls.
Just the back flips, the cartwheels, and listen, hats off to
the gymnastics competition for the entire first round.
And Tristian was almost getting caught by last time. He was just like, what is going on? And this fight, he's going from that extreme to like do it by the book, Patrick Sabatini, because this guy is just technical, a great grappler. And actually, I have in my notes that they're kind of carbon copies of each other, except the problem here is Sabatini is like the athletic version of Tristian Connelly. Tristian Connelly is very, very good, a very, very good grappler. But in those weird exchanges where it takes a little bit of athleticism, I think Patrick Sabatini is just going to be a little bit better. So I like Patrick Sabatini. He is in my lineup. I think in our breakdown, we talked about he's just got kind of that championship mentality. He just when you hear him talk in interviews, he just feels like he's like going to be that guy one day up to fight for a title. And this is not going to be easy though, because Tristian is very, very tough. Of his 14 wins, I think he only has one decision. So if he wins, it's going to be a bloody mess for someone. So, but I just like Patrick Sabatini in this fight. I just think he's better, a little bit better everywhere. And he's in my lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely better everywhere. I completely agree. And if you watch other sort of fight breakdown channels and pick channels, people are going to pick Tristian Connelly because they are just looking at Tapology and reading what's on the screen, and they see the win over Michel Pereira, and they say, oh, he must be good. That is a trap. That fight was absurd. Michel Pereira did backflip, cartwheel, all sorts of ridiculous acrobatics, completely gassed out, and lost the fight. He almost won the fight while doing those ridiculous acrobatics. That is a trap. Looking at that on somebody's record and saying, oh, he beat Michel Pereira. Michel Pereira looks phenomenal. That is a trap. Pat Sabatini is a better wrestler. He's a BJJ black belt, and he's a more technical striker. And you worded it really well when you said he's the more athletic version, because he is very athletic. He's very quick. Everything he does looks easy. Like he just knows what he's doing everywhere. So I think it's a pretty straightforward win, honestly. $8,800 is a lot of money, but I think he gets it done. Dan, are you in that boat as well? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, Pat Sabatini should win this fight. I see him dominating the fight. But what I will say about Tristian Connelly is, one, he's tough as nails. Yeah. That fight against Michel Pereira, he took that on 1 week's notice. So he showed up, like everyone talked about how Michel Pereira gassed out. Connelly took it on 1 week notice, and he was the one going 3 rounds, fresh. So I think he's one of those guys that's not the most athletic, but I think he probably he owns his own gym. That's where he trains out of. So he probably lives and breathes training. Just unfortunately for him in this matchup, he's fighting a guy who's just very athletic, very good wrestling, heavy hands, heavy top pressure. Jacob, you said it well before. He sounds like he's got that championship mindset when he talks. One of his fights, his last loss. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but he got caught in an armbar, and it is one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen. Would not tap, and literally, I thought his arm snapped, when you watch it, but it was dislocated. Anyways, he didn't tap, and the other guy literally broke his arm or dislocated or whatever to where it was pointing out sideways, and he just hopped off and pointed the ref, and everybody just like froze and stared at it. But anyways, my point is the guy did not tap. So he wants to win. You can tell when he talks, he wants to win. He wants to be a champion. So I think he's going to do very well in this fight. I don't know though. Something about this fight, it feels like it's too much of a lock that I always get nervous with that. I think we're underestimating the toughness and some of the skills Tristian Connelly might have. But a hunch is not enough to make a play. So I do have Patrick Sabatini in my lineup. I think he's going to get, at a minimum, a ton of takedowns and a decision win. Probably some good ground and pound. And honestly, he could get a finish if he starts landing some big shots or gets his back and gets rear naked choke. So I think for the $8,800, not cheap, but not crazy expensive, I think it's worth it in a fight that he should dominate.
This is how much respect I have for Tristian, because once I realized that this was the guy that fought Michael in that wild fight and came back and won and showed how tough he was, I'm like, this is my lock of the week. And then I was like, oh no, he's fighting Pat Sabatini. I was like, that's not good. So yeah, I tried for Tristian because I think he is a very, very good. And if he's like found a way to just tough out a win, none of us would be surprised. But I like Patrick to win this.
There's a lot of guys who are good fighters and tough and well-rounded skills. They're just not great athletes. They never look pretty doing it, but they figure out ways to win and beat guys who, the Michelle Pahers of the world who look awesome.
Well, it comes easy to them.
So right. May not have those intangibles. Grit. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. This will be a fun fight no matter what, because there's no quit in either one of them. They are highly skilled and they're very evenly matched as far as strengths and weaknesses. So I think this will be a fun fight. It'll be, I'm really looking forward to it. I have no idea what to do with the significant strike line. I really don't know how I feel about that yet. We'll break that down on Saturday because it is a tricky line. And this is sort of saying what we're saying is they're evenly matched, but one's a little better than the other. So I don't know how to pick that line yet. We'll break that down on Saturday. Before you go, check out the description below. In there, we have links to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and more importantly, to our DraftKings League. Check out the league, join the league, participate in the contests, and as we get going and as you start winning, we're going to start handing out gift cards and participating and doing things like that. So check those out. Every week, there are drops on every fight card. So make sure you check out this channel and our social media on Saturday before the fights start so that you have our most updated lineups and picks.